We're excited to have gotten to come up for a extended weekend over spring break to Oconee State Park. Officially, it's in Mountain Rest, South Carolina, just north of Walhalla. Beautiful campground, lots of stuff to do.
And absolutely now in my top of my mountain trip so far.
Yeah,
and we hadn't done them all, but Oconee rates very high. If you're a Dirty Dancing fan, if you grew up in the 90s like I did, it definitely has a Dirty Dancing vibe of it with the mountain and the lake and all the activities. It is a activity park.
Watch this video. There's going to be a lot to see. We got a lot to pack in. I think you're going to enjoy. So, as we came into the park, beautiful scenery riding up. If you've watched our video from Devil's Fork, we went to Isiquina Falls and Stump House Tunnel. This is actually just past that. You drive right past the entrance to that park.
If you wanted to do those while you're here, absolutely easy to do.
Yeah, it's just right down the road.
And we'll link that video down in the description so you can check out the falls and Stump House tunnels.
As we came in, you stop off at the ranger station store to check in. There's a place to kind of pull over with your camper, walk on in. Now, we got here just after 5. They'd already closed, so we just came on to the campsite. If you come in before 5, you go check in at the cabin.
One big key, cell service and internet in Mountain Rest is extremely limited, so you might want to screenshot or write down or print out where you're supposed to be before you get in, because if you happen to come in after hours, you need to be able to know where you're going.
Yeah, we've had no cell service at all.
Not a lick.
So as we came in, we noticed where we're staying is on the lake loop. It's the lake you see behind us.
Gorgeous. Beautiful sight. We've had the best views all week.
Yeah. As we came in, it seemed really tight. There's a lot of trees here, but with our 26-foot camper, we had no issues. We were fine pulling
And the
in.
trees are tall, so the road might be tight and you need to go slow, but you should do that anyway. But there weren't like overhanging limbs or anything like that.
Nothing.
So if you were in a taller rig, you wouldn't be catching anything.
No.
It just is narrow. But that's part of what to us makes it one of our favorites.
Really neat. The lake loop is a gravel road. It's not paved. They're gravel sites. I'm gonna take just a moment right here and do a quick walk around of our particular site. I'm gonna do a quick walk around of our site 33. Now it is early on Thursday morning right now. They're calling for rain later, so I decided I'd go ahead and film this. This is a fairly uneven site, probably the most uneven that I've dealt with so far. You kind of see I'm stretched out on the front end. Got a pretty good step up. But it's a spacious site. A lot of these in this loop are a little smaller. There's a lot of trees, so you got to navigate it. It's kind of tight in here. But this site is spacious. It's long. We have plenty of space to kind of spread out. So we got the fire pit over there. Talking about unevenness. This is the most interesting setup I've ever had to do as far as blocks. But we made it work and we got level. But here's what this is all about. That view of the pond. Now there are some pull-through sites below us, currently unoccupied. I'm sure this weekend they will be full. But there's a fishing pier. You see over here, someone had pull through, and there is a pull-through site directly behind us. So it can get a little busier in here. Come back on this side, standard 30 amp. Hook up, water. See, I got really close to that tree with a slide out, but we made it. All in all, this is Probably one of the bigger, nicer sites here. You see the bathhouse is just up there. Lots of trees, very rustic kind of feeling. So far, we're really enjoying Oconee. One thing I got to say, I pointed out in this walk around how I had to set up the leveling jacks. I was a little worried. I've never had to go quite so extreme. It's actually the most level I think I've ever got in the camper. When we had the air conditioning on when we first got here, the condensation would drip depending on where the wind was blowing. It'd drip on the back driver's side if the wind was blowing from the lake. When it was blowing the other way, it'd drip off the front passenger side. When it rained, it rained a lot on Saturday, it came off all four corners about equally. So I think I was pretty spot on level, which is a little surprising for the site. But
it's a plenty big site.
The lake loop is actually the whole park. I think it was kind of what it was like to camp back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, and okay, this park was built in the 1930s, opened to the public in 1935, and continued to work on through the Civilian Conservation Corps through the mid to late 30s. This is and there's pictures in some of the different park areas of what people were camping and doing in those times and in the late 60s, but it is very much like what I think of as like an old school park like this. But this is what I think of when I know that my grandfather liked to camp. My grandfather actually participated in the CCC out in Oregon and Washington when he was a young man, and so then he also was very into camping. And this is what I picture of him taking my mom.
Yeah. So this loop I think is probably very similar to how it was originally set up. Like I said, gravel. There's some neat little kind of timber separating the sites.
Yeah, they've got cool little slat rail fences.
Now the up on the ridge part is a newer section that is paved. Some of those sites are paved, and they're actually doing some work on them. They're in the process of adding some full hookups to some. They're putting buddy sites in.
And lots of them are leveled with the timbers. How you see different places.
New gravel. So 119, 122, and 125.
They're 125A, 120.
Right. They're buddy
AB.
sites. So they're AB. Each one of them has an AB. That's brand new. This week was the first time that it had been opened that way. They're going to be tweaking it some, but that's something unique and pretty neat here. But along that whole ridge, right now, as they're doing the remodeling, it looks a little tore up, so give them a little grace. I think they're going to get this really nice. They've been going around asking questions, asking campers what their experiences have been so they can improve on it. They said that once they get done up on that ridge, they're going to start to work on improving these down here.
Thinning the trees a
They're going to thin
little.
the trees some in order to try and improve access so that it's not so uncomfortable for folks that have the larger rigs.
And that's also one of the cool things is they have trash pickup.
So this is the first park we've been at that there is no trash cans to put your trash in. They come by twice a day, and on Sundays they come by pretty much all day and pick up trash for you. So that's kind of neat.
Big. And the rangers, it's a really well-staffed park.
Yeah,
the rangers have all been extremely friendly, and there's just a lot of people, a lot of staff. And I think in the summer it probably almost doubles because there's lots of different options and activities, and we'll talk some more about that.
Yeah. While we were here, we did a walk around the lake, the lake loop. Now there's actually two lakes here on the premises. The lake behind us is the campground lake. Then there's the lake up by the store. That's kind of the main lake. Both of them built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. Up at the store, which that building was built by the CCC, there is like this big lawn going down to that lake. There is a swimming area.
Again, the Dirty Dancing vibes with the lawn, the swimming area. There's also a boat rental pavilion. There's a swimming pavilion where there's changing rooms from Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's open with snacks, the canoe renting, kayak renting, swimming.
All that goes
all the
on
things.
There.
It very much, we can just picture it in the summer as being just full of families and activities and just a lot of fun. It looks just like a lot of fun.
And then come back up between the campground and here, or the campground and the store. They actually have carpet golf, mini golf.
The only one in the state to actually have carpet golf.
They
have
big
a little
playground,
baseball field.
a playground, baseball field, and then you get to that store. So it's really neat how it all kind of jives together. Then when you go over the lake, There's a series of cabins.
Gorgeous cabins.
There are, I can't remember the number of cabins on the lake. There's a total of 20 here.
Yeah.
I would say probably
I think
12 or 14
that are on the lake.
And then the rest of them are kind of up in a separate area up in the mountains. So you're kind of looking up toward the hills.
But the lake ones actually have like fishing access. There's not piers per se, but each one of them have open access right to the water. We saw several people fishing right there. They have the fire pits. They have all kinds of other activities.
All of the cabins here, there's 20 cabins total.
19
of them were built by the CCC in the 30s. So it's a testament to how much they've tried to preserve the heritage of the CCC here at this campground. All of them have been modernized with central heating and air. I think Wi-Fi. You want to call and confirm that?
It looks like the tankless water heaters.
Yeah, it's really nice modern touches for something that's 80 years old. One other building we forgot about, the CCC built, the barn.
The barn. We didn't get to participate in barn activities, but we are planning on coming back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get back. So there's a huge barn that was built by the CCC, where every Friday night from Memorial Day to Labor Day,
from 8 to 10 o'clock,
they have square dancing. Where else are you gonna get mini golf, square dancing, kayak rental,
the
go
big
fishing?
hill down to the water and they've even got the old the swimming platform out in the center, paddle boats, kayaks, canoes. It's just a total package. It just looks like, so there's a volleyball court. There's also some amazing picnic pavilions, some that were built by the CCC that just blow your mind that people built these things, and you can see like the axe marks in the walls. And
they also do special activities here for some of the holidays.
Big holidays, Easter, Halloween,
July.
4th of July. And we don't know what all is going to be going on. You might check with them about the different activities for the holidays, but they did say, you've got to come back on the 4th of July. We have 4th of July plans this year, but we plan to try to jump on as soon as we can make reservations for 4th of July 2022, because we absolutely have heard big things about the 4th of July.
Halloween is another one I've heard good things about. Long before we came here, people said you want to come to Halloween at Oconee if you can.
But I highly think whether you're coming for a day trip, you're coming to tent camp, you're coming to RV, you're coming for a cabin rental.
Now, a couple things just to know about the camping experience. It's a busy park. There's
131 sites.
131 sites. They're fairly close together, some closer than others. But there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of activity. Because of all the stuff, it's popular for families. So if you're coming here for that quiet, secluded getaway, you might be a little disappointed. Now, while we were here,
it was spring break for the majority of people.
On Saturday, it rained like cats and dogs. I don't know how much it rained. There were a lot of tent campers here that packed up and went home. It was so much rain, everything got wet. They left early. The folks behind us, unfortunately, that happened with them. It was kind of sad to see how much it rained and how wet their stuff got. So it was quiet and peaceful.
Friday night was the opposite. Exactly. I think every site was full. There were kids riding on bicycles. There were glow sticks in the distance. There were people trekking to different things.
It seemed like we had a racetrack of bicycles here. It was fun to watch.
We were very close to a pier, and so people were coming down to walk down the pier and coming down to walk on the pier. So this was a great site for us. Our kids just ate it up. Enjoyed all the activities. There's lots of kids, lots of dogs, and we were on spring break. If you're looking for more quieter, probably a week time during more winter would be great. But I would bet their busy season that they say from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it's probably pretty wild. Yeah. Now, I will say there was extremely limited Wi-Fi just really around the store, especially for the campers. Yeah. And we had absolutely no service. Some people said that Verizon had a little cell service. We had once you hit the sign that said "Welcome to Mountain Rest," it was like whoop. Nothing. So if you have teenagers that you have trouble with wanting to be on their phones, we saw a lot of people with lots of that middle school to teenager that they didn't have a choice. They had to participate in their family activities. So that was a draw, I think, for some families that just makes it so much easier to just be it's not available.
Yeah. Now, I will say, after the rain cleared last night, we got back from dinner. It was so quiet and so peaceful. I actually got some video of you can't see anything because it's dark, but all the noises of nature. That was really pretty. I went down after the kids went to bed and just had some quiet time down on the pier, and that was really nice. It's probably not going to be that way much during the summer, but during the winter and the off season, you can get a little peace and quiet up here in the mountains.
It's really a pretty
really
place. There were some very easy hikes, so kid friendly. Now if you're looking for, strenuous hikes, I don't know if you could do Sam Henry, don't forget putt-putt. That was his absolute favorite thing. The hikes were very kid friendly. The one around the lake, there was lots of boardwalk area. Made it very easy, it was very flat. Even the hike to the falls wasn't that difficult. There is a really cool CCC built water wheel where and it was actually it wasn't working, but they were in the process of fixing it while we were here, and just the old buildings and all the atmosphere, it really put Oconee really high on the list. Not just the atmosphere, but also the staff. The kids were able to do the Junior Ranger 2 program this time while we were here, and they got their special Junior Ranger notebooks. They were it was really a cool experience overall for our trip. We had pretty good weather. We had some serious rain yesterday afternoon, but in general, it's just been a great park.
It was a little warm when we first got here. Now, if the rain is gone, it's a little cooler today, but it's still very comfortable for April. That one thing about the store, it's a great store. Lots of different things.
Lots of t-shirts and hats and things.
T-shirts and hats and things like that around here. There's not as much camping gear. In some places, they have a lot of camping stuff if you forgot your sewer hoses and stuff like that. I didn't see a whole lot of that.
There's a few little couplings.
Yeah, a few little things, but nothing much. So you kind of need to make sure you got everything.
And you might want to make sure you got a lot of your food product. There wasn't sometimes you can get mayonnaise or peanut butter or things like that, syrup.
Yeah, there is a Dollar General about 2 miles up the road you pass coming in. So if you forget something like that, you can run there.
Yeah, Dollar General place got pretty much whatever you could need that way. And talking about the store, we were talking about how, it has to have a lot of activity. The other thing, it does have a great big porch, so there was chairs and things, and that's where you rented all your stuff during Labor Day to Memorial Day. Now during their busy season, Memorial Day to Labor Day, the putt-putt rental is actually there's a little shed there right by putt-putt, and then they're also down where they have the CCC built bathhouse and restrooms changing area. There is a concession store, and that's where you would rent your kayaks, the canoes, the paddle boats, all those things. So, and there's concessions and stuff as well. So during the busy season, there would be almost 3 places for you to go for your activity and just kind of spread people out if that was a concern. And just because we feel like it probably is even busier for activities during that time.
While we were here, because we were on an extended trip, we decided we wanted to try and explore around a little bit more places to eat, places to go. So we went to have breakfast one morning at I believe it's Old South Cafe in Mercantile in Mountain Rest.
It is right next to the post office.
You
can't miss it.
As you leave out of the park, you head back out like you came in, take a right on Highway 28, and as you go into Mountain Rest proper, you see the post office, and it's right there on the left. Neat little place. Has a lot of little local things to sell. We bought some bourbon apple jam.
I bought some beautiful arrow earrings. There's some little handmade gifts. There's also a lot of body scrubs and bath bombs, candles, welts, melts, things like that.
And we stopped for breakfast. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was a good breakfast. The kids got these pancakes that were huge.
They were as big as their plates.
They were massive.
I don't think our kids have ever seen pancakes that big. They tend to get the little silver dollar size pancakes.
They were huge. They got it with fresh strawberries and
blueberries and chocolate
chips, which they loved. I got the French toast, which was fantastic, and you got the.
I got a basic old timers breakfast type thing. It was grits and eggs and sausage. But it came with a biscuit, which is pretty much why I ordered it, because I wanted to check out the biscuit. And it was what I would call a cat head biscuit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was significantly sized biscuit.
Fluffy, and the kids' pancakes were very fluffy. So really neat. If you're in the area, go give them a try.
It's a small local-owned restaurant. Those are always, needing as much business as they can get. We did hear from some of the Rangers that they really enjoyed their lunch, and then they had kind of a meat and three option as well as some kind of fun sandwiches, as well as dinner options.
Yeah, so well worth taking the ride up. And then on Saturday night, we went and hit a institution in Walhalla, the Walhalla Steak House Cafeteria. I don't know when it was originally constructed. But
there was a sign in there that they got a 35-year plaque like 20 years ago. So it was like 95. They were being recognized for 35 years of service. Yeah,
it's one of those institutions that's been around forever. When I went to Clemson, some of my coworkers used to talk about coming up to Walhalla Steakhouse in order to get the chicken. They have I don't even know how to describe the batter on the chicken. It's very unique.
It's almost tempura-like. It's very hard to describe because it was flaky and the chicken was very moist, but none of it was greasy.
But it wasn't greasy at all. So I don't know how they did. I don't know, the air bake. I don't know.
We don't know.
But
it was delicious.
It was fantastic.
And the kids' chicken tenders were
same kind of breading.
They were same kind of breading. They were like that. I mean, obviously fresh, real chicken, delicious.
It's a cafeteria style.
So you push your tray along the thing, and
it just reminds me of a restaurant when I was a kid growing up, and the way we used to.
We kind of had a '60s vibe happening here with the Dirty Dancing theme, and then the tray in the cafeteria. And I will say the kids thought it was awesome, like to be able to push their little tray on the silver bars, and they got their chocolate pie, which I later regretted because they apparently were sugar high, like crazy people later that night. But to get their little piece of pie and get their, all the little plates, and then there were people dressed in white shirts and black pants that came and took their trays for them and carried them to the table. And so the vibe is kind of cool. The food is excellent. It's very cafeteria style. It is not white tablecloths if that's what you're looking for. But we're camping. We're not, and we have kids. We're not taking them someplace that is like fine dining. But the chicken was pretty amazing.
The chicken was pretty good.
So overall, Oconee does rate probably in my top 3, I would say,
I'd
for
say
the state.
Yeah, top 5. Every campground is different. Every campground has its own unique character. This one, as we talk, it's got that old school dirty dancing vibe. It's unique.
It gives you a lot of nostalgia and fun. Now, I will say the lake loop, there was a lot of smaller campers, pop-up campers, as well as lots of like serious tent campers.
And big groups.
Big groups of tent camping. The inner loop where the bigger sites are, there was more of the RV. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, what you might be after. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of activities. If you're coming to be active and to do things at a beautiful campground and kind of feel like it was back in the day, this is your spot. Well worth coming and checking out.
This is number 25.